Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Fears video with Phatphil. Today, we're going to be going over phases 1 and 2 of the Phatphil mod farming guide. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, Google spreadsheet will be linked down below. That's why the fat face is over here, so that way you guys can see more of the text on, I guess this side. Right? Is that? No, this side. This side. Yeah. I'm an idiot. So, please like and subscribe, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let's give a shout out to our channel members again for continuing to keep their faith. Thank you again for, supporting this channel through thick, thin, good, bad videos. Me being a moron at trying to point one direction versus the other. Thank you guys again. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to have you as part of the Phatphil family. Know that whether I get to stream or not, I think about you guys. I hope you join the Discord. If you're not, again, link down below, guys. Take advantage of that section. Ask me your questions. I am very happy to answer them. So, let's get into this video. Let's talk about the mod phases. Alright, guys. So, we're going to be talking about phases 1 and 2 of the Phatphil mod farming guide. And that's because phases 1 and 2 go hand in hand. You don't really get to do one without the other. So, we're going to flip over here to our screen capture. And we've got phase 1. Now, this is your acquisition phase. Your first two phases is about acquiring mods. Think quantity, not quality. You don't need the best mods. You're not trying to find those, 87s, or not 87, those, 28 speed with, 8.5% offense. Like, we're just looking for, good mods to build from. Think of building mods. It's kind of like building a house. When you watch them build a house, what do? Do they build one room at a time? No, they lay the foundation. Then they put the sides of the house up. Like, they get the outside, they cover it, and then they build all the stuff on the inside. They don't do all the fluffing until at the end, and that's exactly the way the modding and mod phases work, is that you've got to do that ugly, nitty-gritty stuff in the beginning. So in the acquisition phase, our primary focus here is getting your correct mod sets. Now, here, the one thing you need to do is sell bad matches. A bad match is simply a mod that I would say the secondaries or the primaries don't match up with the mod set. So up here, for example, we've got a crit damage set with health percent primary. I ain't jiving with that. That ain't happening. Especially on the arrow, I'd want speed, I'd want offense. Over here, I've got a potency cross, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But on an offense set, it doesn't really make sense, especially without offense percent on the secondary. So even though it has 14 speed, this mod is not helping me at all, right? It's not helping me. I need to ditch this mod. It's not good. That's why it's on Mission Val. Now, when you're early in the game, your acquisition is going to come from the mod challenges. Right? Mod challenges are going to be the main way that you're going to be getting mods early. Right? Unfortunately, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to get mods anywhere else. Now, a lot of you will say, oh, Phil, but, I can go to the mod store and get mods. You can. But it's not economical to get all of your mods from here. Like, you do not have the capability to spend 3-4 million credits for every single mod in your inventory. You will run out of credits so fast. So instead, what you want to do is use these mod challenges, right? So as soon as you can start getting these things, get them up and running and start earning your mods. Now, what I want you to keep in mind with the mod challenges is the big three. The big three are health, offense, and speed mods. And this is pretty simple to understand. In general, and this is a big point here to keep in mind, general. When you are looking at mods, think in general. Don't think about that one particular character, and I'm going to use someone like Rey as a great example, where I've got this, offense set health mod with offense percent. Most characters would not really might not want this, right? Like, this is a much more specific kind of mod. But in general, most characters who use an offense cross down here, right, who have an offense set, want offense percent as the primary. Think general. If I can convince you to do anything, right, it's generally mod your account. That in general, offense percent with offense is a good way to go, right? That matching principle. But it, even beyond that, think in general terms, right? Oh, I guess I'm not sharing my screen because I'm a moron. So what I was trying to show you guys is most characters like Ray don't want this, right? You want to be going after characters like Bo-Katan here, where in general I'm modded properly, right? I've got the offense percent and offense. That is something you really need to understand about this game, right? Think general. In general, characters want to do 3 things. They want to move fast, hit hard, or take a lot of damage. Health, offense, speed. Those are the 3 key core mod sets. And I kind of broke it down here into like a 2-week mod farming cycle. That over a span of 14 days, I would probably spend 5 of them farming offense, 5 of them farming speed, and then 2 on health, and then 2 of like other various sets. The reason you need to spend so many days farming offense and speed is because when you look at the amount of mods it takes to create a set, you're looking at 4 mods for each of those, while it only takes 2 mods to create a health set. So you need to spend more time farming speed and offense because you need more of those mods in order to get the bonuses. Now, early on in your account's life cycle, maybe you're going to do more health mod farming. And as you progress, maybe you don't do any because you've gotten to Smuggler's Run in 2 where you're earning other health mods. Also the the Assault Battle where you go against the Separatists using Jedi. You can also earn some health mods there. So there's a couple of ways to get some health mods that eventually you won't need to farm them as much and you can start farming one of these other sets. What I want you to understand is it's not that these other sets aren't important, but if I go back over to the game here, and I'm going to make sure I actually go back over to the game, that when you're back in the game here, and if I just go to someone like CLS, or Darth Vader's a good one. If I go to Darth Vader and I say, hey, how many characters have a potency mod down here? I mean, look at that. On a potency set with potency on the cross, right? A handful of characters, right? Like, it's not like it's a crazy number. So think about your account. Do you have this many characters who would benefit from this kind of mod? If that answer is no, which I know for most of you it actually is, then don't worry about farming potency sets yet. Wait until you have a bunch of characters that can benefit from potency sets. What you don't want to do is shoehorn yourself with a mod on a character that you can't use anywhere else. That is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, is getting a mod that, you really don't have another home for it after said character, right? And that can be a big problem. So just think through those things, that don't get a mod that is so specific for one character that you can't put it on anyone else, because then you're not generally modding anymore and you're skipping ahead to other phases. So that's a big thing with, the first phase here, right? Now, again, eventually you will no longer farm mods. You'll through mod challenges, you'll only buy them through the mod store because you have so many. But again, later phases, we'll talk about that. So again, phase 1, the acquisition phase, worry about the mod set. And getting into phase 2, which is the primary stat phase. Now, with the primary stat phase here, this is also your matching phase. You're going to match your mods together. So phase 1, you had that whole, hey, bad matches, right? Phase 2, you could even get a little bit pickier if you want, where, okay, now we're selling anything without speed. Does the mod in and of itself make sense? So one example here that I would use is like coming down here to these mods, right? So, or I guess let's just stay up here for a second. When you're trying to figure out, hey, are there good mods on this that I'm going to maybe keep or skip mods? So when I looked here, these were in the store one day. So I said, I'm going to keep this mod and I would keep this mod, right? They're both circle stats and they're, so health and protection, but you look at the, it makes sense, right? This is a health set. This is a defense set. Like, those stats match up. Tenacity on a health set doesn't really match. Critical damage on a tenacity mod doesn't match. Protection on this offense mod doesn't match because there's no good secondaries on it, right? So I would, keep, and then skip the rest. Now, when you're actually looking at, okay, I do have a good mod that I want to bring up, that I potentially would want to purchase, taking at gold, you'll see all of the secondary stats. At the purple mods, it takes level 3. At blue mods, it takes level 6. Green, it takes 9. And 12, or in white mods, it takes 12. So what you can do is, if you're trying to figure out what stats are on this mod, just level it up to level 12 or level 3 or whatever color it is. Level it up to the appropriate level to see all of those stats. And if there's no speed, you can sell it right away. So maybe it might be a good match like this one. But if it doesn't roll speed, it's of zero help to me. So goodbye, right? Now when a mod is showing speed, I will immediately take it to level 12. The reason I will take that mod to level 12 is because it only costs me 80,000 credits. And it will give me every single secondary stat roll. That your secondaries, right, all reveal themselves at level 12. So here in this mod, an example, I got 2 rolls of protection, 2 rolls of offense, and 2 rolls of health. Or 3 rows of health. No speed. So I knew that, hey, I spent 80,000 credits on this mod, and it didn't give me any more speed. I don't really want it. And that's important because it costs 160,000 more credits to level up a mod from 12 to 15, right? So you can save yourself a lot of credits by potentially going to level 12 if it doesn't end up keeping those secondary stats that you want. Now, matching principle. Again, I talked about this, in that first introductory video. This is a very important thing here. And so we're going to cover it in the primary stat phase. So, hey, your mod's got speed on it. What kind of mods do we want to look at here? So the matching principle can go a couple different ways. Sometimes when you look at this mod here, it's an offense set with health, and you're like, Phil, that doesn't make any sense. But there's offense percent on the secondary. Or you come over here to, say, this mod, health percent. Okay, health percent makes sense. And offense percent on the secondary. This is a mod that would more benefit an attacker based on those, secondary stats, right? Potency set, potency primary. Critical damage primary, critical damage set with offense percent on the secondary, critical chance, matching principle. The idea is you're trying to match up all the stats on the mod to make it work. And you don't need to get this picky early on. There's a couple where maybe I would say like critical damage, if you're going to run that, I better see offense percent on the secondary. And that's a whole video in and of itself, really. So I have a bunch of examples that you guys can kind of look at here on your own. But the idea is, if you're going to run a protection primary up here, I want to see some tankier stats, right? On your circle mods, you're kind of stuck with that health or protection, but on the arrow, you can get a lot more. So if you're going to choose to run protection, then have some of those stats to back up that character. And on this one for Malik, we're looking at that defense percent, health, and tenacity all being things he likes along with that speed, right? So I did want to share that. And then matching with speed, just kind of as like a side note here, if you're going to use a speed set, I better see some friggin' speed on it. Like, don't be using speed mods with like 5 speed unless you're like brand new in the game. But if you're a much higher level player, you've been playing for a while, I better see some good speed on your speed sets. And trust me, I am guilty of this. It happens a lot. But you want to try to match your stuff together. And sometimes that means it's secondary stats that need to match. Other times it's primaries. Just in general, think about what that character wants to do. So you can always ask about it. Hey, Bosk. Well, Bosk is a tank, but he also likes to be fast. So I've got a defense set on him, protection, and then I've got a lot of defense percent secondary on him. You come down here over to Wampa, or this mod over here, which is on Commander Luke. Tenacity sets with tenacity primaries. And then we're rocking some speed. We're rocking some potency, offense, and health. All good stats that we like to have on these characters. So notice in these first 2 phases, we didn't talk at all about slicing. Because early on, slicing is not the way to go. Early on, you just need to focus about building that base. Again, I love to use the house example. I think it's great. You don't start by building a single room at a time and then build a whole new foundation and then knock down the walls to connect them. Like, you start it from here and then it builds its way up, and that's exactly what mods do in your account. And I think that's hard to see with content creators because we have such huge rosters, and it's really difficult to see that we built these from scratch. But modding takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Excuse me. So take your time with it. Be patient. Think through, do these mods match up? Do they make sense? You know, is that matching principle in order? You know, this mod for Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, right? It's got, you know, speed with speed. Okay, that's good. And then defense and health. So I was like, hey, this kind of makes sense to put on a tank, right? Whereas I go to this one on Master Qui-Gon Jinn, and it's got potency and health, so I put it on a support character. Or this one on Grandmaster Yoda, he doesn't really need a ton of other stuff than speed, so I skimped out on some of the other stats. Whereas, you know, someone like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, I threw a lot of health on there because I want him to have the health. Or, you know, JML's got protection, and Lord Vader's even got a mix of protection and health. You know, think through those. You know, or if we go down here to triangle stats, and we go to Darth Malgus, you know, we've got protection percent there, right? He's a tank. Whereas, you know, with Dash, I've got an offense one here, so I just went for some good speed. Or Tarpals, I've got critical damage with offense percent and good protection. Zori's got protection with offense percent. You know, you're trying to just match up the mods to make sure that they make somewhat, you know, some logical sense for that character. You know, they don't need to be perfect. You know, Rey, I went with health and then a lot of offense percent. So I hope you guys are kind of seeing that, you know, matching principle, you know, in action, right? This one here on Canderous, we've got critical damage set, or critical damage mod with offense and offense percent secondary. And then maybe one more. Down here on Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, we've got defense with protection. Over here, we've got, you know, a speed set offense with, you know, good speed. Let's go here to Eighth Brother, right? We've got good health and protection on him with good speed here. So all of these mods kind of coming together and saying, hey, the stats all make sense for XYZ person. So that's the end of this video for phases 1 and 2. I'm going to move the fat face back over. Again, link down below. Let me know your thoughts, guys. We will be continuing this with phases 3, 4, and 5, and then kind of a summary video, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. So, thank you all for watching. As always, I love you all so much. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.